Hello YouTube, it's just Rust and FLTK. Welcome to another tutorial. In this tutorial, we're going to continue where we left off in the last tutorial. As you remember, in the last tutorial, we were able to open an image viewer, and we were able to open an image, and then we were able to add the save and the save as functionalities. But we didn't do anything to edit, we didn't do anything to view image or info. In this tutorial, what I'm going to do, I'm going to be showing you how to do, once you have the file open, like in this case we have this open, we can actually, let me just start from the beginning, not to get you confused. Let's go from here and start from scratch. So we open the image, and let's just use the same one. Then we do the edit. It allows me now, if this was not there before, this is no, this is what we're going to do in this tutorial. We're gonna crop. Let's say that we want to crop this B here. It's going to ask me, are you happy with that? Yes. Do you want to save it? Yes. And then it allows me to save it. And save it. And boom, save. And now it brings me back to my original image. But if I want to see the image that I just cropped, I can go here, find it, and there it is. Okay. So in this tutorial, this is what we're going to do. We're going to open all of that good stuff. Let me go back here, save it for later because we're going to be using it. So let's save it. So basically, what are we going to do? This is the code here, and we're going to, this is where we left off in the last tutorial. At the end of the last tutorial, we added the save rs. In this tutorial, we're creating the edit directory and the crop directory. Edit directory and the crop directory. Inside the edit directory is going to have the crop directory and the mod rs. Inside the crop directory is going to have the aspect ratio, crop tool rs, and mod rs. And we're going to make some changes to the main rs and some changes to the image rs and the mod rs. That's what we're going to be doing here. I'm just doing this so you follow along. Inside the mod rs, it's going to have the pub mod file because it's creating these two directories inside the menu. And in the source menu, edit mod rs is just the crop directory. That's all it is. In the source menu, edit crop mod rs is going to be bringing the module crop tool that I'm going to be showing you where it is now. It's this guy right there, crop tool. And from that crop tool, it's going to use the crop selection, and it's also going to use the star interactive crop. And all of that is going to make sense once we open the crop tool. Now is here the aspect ratio. We need to work with the aspect ratio because we're going to go from screen coordinates to image coordinates. So we have to preserve some type of an aspect ratio. And this is what we're doing here. Get dimensions. I don't want to get too much into here because we're going to be talking more in detail when we get to the crop tool. And finally, actually one more to go. This is the mod rs. Nothing much changes. The only thing that changes is this line that we updated the import, this import, and we added it here, and we added it here. Everything else is the same as it was from the last tutorial. And here, this is our image rs file. This is where we bring in the aspect ratio because this is where we're getting scale image dimension. Some of that is from the last tutorial is already there because we had to do scaling. but the difference is that we're going to be dealing more with some of the new functionalities, the aspect ratio things. And everything else, redraw, this is new also, but you'll see it when I do it now. And here we are in the crop tool, source menu, edit crop, and then the crop tool. And just to remind you, so you don't get lost, is this is the guy that I'm talking about right now. Now we're going to open the file because it's color coded, so it's easier to follow along. So basically, this is where all the magic is happening. We're bringing this one and these are just local files coming from the save and the display image and then the image state. Just nothing new. The full tick, besides these two guys, I will mention that later. Event, this is no, because we're going to be dealing with dragging with the mouse. So you're going to be click, drag, release. These are all events. That's where we're bringing that from full tick. And now we get into the one of the most important structs. This is the CropSelection struct. This struct holds all the necessary information for the crop operation. It tracks the selection coordinates, start and end. It stores whether a user is currently making a selection. It's a boolean, is it yes or no? And it maintains the original image and frame dimensions. So the image and the frame dimensions, for you're gonna need that for when you're doing the scaling calculations. Here is basically this here initializes here. This is the new here initializes a new selection with the default values. So as you can see, it's going to start. This is selecting. It starts with false and starts at 000 and the image width and height. This is the default value. Think of it that way. It's going to get the dimensions here. It's going to calculate the actual selection rectangle coordinates, and that's what's happening there. And then here is going to get the image dimensions, where it's going to convert the from screen coordinates into image coordinates. And once it gets all of that, it's going to reset back to the default, where they started. And basically, here, the offsets, where are they? Here. It's basically being that we're talking from an image to a crop area, so it needs to center. That's why it's dividing the width by 2 and the height by 2 to get to the center. What else? This is just full tick stuff to going the way full tick works. It needs to do that to do the proper scaling. We saw a little bit of that in the last tutorial when we're doing the image and the frame scales. This is what's going on there. The offsets, converting the screen coordinates that I was just talking about back to image coordinates. Because remember, when you're doing an image, when you're doing a crop, you're going from screen coordinates, right? But now you're going to have image coordinates. So this is where that is taking place. That's what that's talking about. Screen coordinates back to image coordinates. And once it makes those image coordinates, it has to make sure that they're within the bounds. So it has to do enforcement, bounds enforcement. Here is select resetting, going back to it, and now we're getting to the handle crop with selection function. That's where the coordination transformation logic is is happening. Um, it basically what it does, it takes a frame and state references. As you can see here, it's a frame reference and an image state reference. And what it does, it extracts selection coordinates. It creates a new image array data, like a data array with the crop data, and it copies the pixel data from or the original to the new image. For example, what do I mean by that? This is the source data, and this is the source position. This is the crop data, and this is the destination position. So basically, it's copying the pixel data from the original to the new image. So it's taking this stuff, source data, source position, into the crop data destination position. And it's doing it raw by raw. It's updating the application state with the crop image, and it's returning whether it failed or it was successful or it failed. Think of it that way. It's always going from making sure that you go from the pixel data from the original to the new image, the crop. That's the easiest way to think of it, and it's doing it raw by raw by raw. Okay, so now start the interactive crop. This is where this is same thing again, reference from frame and image state reference. This is what's happening here. And where what's going on? Go back. I don't. I wanted to show you something before that. Okay. The first thing that it needs to do, it needs to make sure that the image is there. So it's going to validate the image presence. It's going to initialize the CropSelection state, and it's also going to basically here is going to give you a manual visual feedback when you drag in, when you're doing the selection. Is going to draw the line, a white line, a solid white line, a black dash. This is what's happening here. Basically, is drawing the selection rectangle, managing the visual feedback during the selection. It's showing the white solid border, the black dash border for better visibility so we can see what we're doing. And it's updating the display of selection changes. So all of that is happening there. Now we get to the events. There are three main events. There's the push event, the drag event, and the release event. With the push event, basically, think of it this way. It starts that selection, it records the starting coordinates, and then it resets to whatever any previous selection was. So, and initiates the selection mode. That's what's happening in the push event. This right here. This is what's happening here. When the event gets dragged, when you first click and you start dragging with your mouse, what is happening is updating the end coordinates. This is what's happening here. So it's updating the end coordinates, and it's triggering a redraw to give you the visual feedback that I was talking about here. That's what's happening. And here, once you drag and you get the updated end coordinates, now you release the mouse, and then this set of events takes place. So it's going to validate the end of selection. So it's going to make sure that where you ended is where you ended, right? And it's going to show the crop confirmation dialog. So it's going to ask you, this is what's after this, it's going to ask you, is it, do you want to crop the selected area? Yes or no? This is where that, once you release, right, you're going to get the dialog. And the dialog is going to ask you, do you want to save, yes or no? This is what's happening here. It's going to also handle the saving workflow, and it's going to manage the cleanup and the state reset. And that's what's happening. All of that, because every time you make let's say that you choose not to crop, when the dialog box asks you, do you want to crop? If you answer no, you gotta go back to the original. But if you had done already a selection, it has to do the cleanup, and that's what's happening. So it has to make sure that if not, you're going to have two, three different images. You get race conditions, you get all kinds of weird stuff happening. So it has to have a state management. It has to do careful handling of the borrowing and to prevent deadlocks, because you can be it's while I was doing this, it happened to me a couple times that you get some race conditions because it's trying to do too many things at once. So you gotta have proper cleanup. If not, it's not gonna be good. And basically that's what is happening in here. So basically, just to give you I did a lot of talking, but now going back, all of that talking was to be able to do this. So basically, to open an image, then edit, allow you to crop, and then do this. Crop the selected area. Yes, this is the dialog boxes that I was talking about. Do you want to say? Let's say I say no, it goes back to the original, but it has to clean up that area that I had before. That's what I mean. All of that good stuff is happening. But in the next tutorial, we're going to be more likely adding more functionality to the edit. We got crop out of the way. This is it can be tricky. uh, you might be able to do this in your applications. I'm going to put this in my GitHub page, and you will be able to copy and paste it to your heart's delight. It's all yours. So I'm going to update my GitHub, and this is the end of this tutorial. If you like this tutorial, please click the like box, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time with another tutorial. Take care.